Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, okay, here we go. It's up here. It's on here on the tripod. It's on a tiny tripod, very small, very short, and I want to continue with the Machiavellian teachings here. Now, Machiavelli, teaching of the Machiavellian teachings teaches you about how to survive and learn to maintain control. I've been it's how to think, act, and win like a Machiavellian.
Power, control, influence. These are the desires that pulse beneath the surface of every ambition. Yet, what does it take to attain them? Not just through strength or charisma, but through a deeper, darker understanding of human nature. We all seek power, but few ever achieve it because they fail to grasp one brutal truth. Power is not given, it's seized. What if I told you that the key to mastery in this ruthless game isn't kindness, loyalty, or even intellect, but the ability to manipulate, to outthink, to control the very emotions and actions of those around you? To be unpredictable, feared, and untouchable, while others remain helpless in your wake. The Machiavellian mindset isn't about leading through fairness or justice. It's about bending others to your will without mercy, without hesitation. Imagine being the one who doesn't follow the rules but rewrites them, who doesn't care about morality, but only the result. What would you sacrifice to have this power? Your conscience? Your emotions? The chains that bind others are the ones that set you free. This isn't for the faint-hearted. To be Machiavellian means to operate in the shadows, to live without the constraints of societal norms. Are you ready to
Now, the question is, what exactly is the societal norms? Let's look it up. Okay. 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 What is the social norm theory? Okay, this was social norms, the informal rules that govern behavior in groups, societies, have been extensively studied in the social science. Anthropologists have described how social norms functions in different cultures. Gertz, 1973. Socialists have focused on their social functions on how they motivate people to act. This is Durkheim, born in 1895, died in 1982. 1895, 82, 50, 57. Parsons, 37. Parsons and Schill, 51. James Coleman in 1990. Hitcher and Opp, 01. The economists have explored how inherent the norm influences market behavior. Akraloff, 76. Young, 98. More recent, also legal scholars have touted social norms as efficient alternatives to legal rules, as they may internalize negative externalities and provide signaling mechanisms at little or no cost. Alkerson, 1991, Posner, 2000. With a few exceptions, the social science literature conceives of norms as exogenous, genesis, exogenous, variables. Let's see here. Since norms are mainly seen as constraining behavior, some of the key differences between moral, social, and legal forms, as well as difference between norms and conventions, have been blurred. Much attention has instead been paid to conditions under which norms will be obeyed because of that. The issue of sanctions have been paramount in the social science literature. Moreover, since social norms are seen as central to the production of social order or social coordination, research on norms have been focused on the function they perform. Yet even if a norm may fulfill important social functions such as welfare, maximization, or the elimination of the externalities, it cannot be explained solely on the basis of functions it performs. The simplistic functionalist perceives have been rejected on several accounts. In fact, even though a given norm can be conceived as the means to achieve some goal, this is usually not the reason why it emerged in the first place. Elster, 1989A, 1989B. Move over, although particular norms may persist as opposed to emerge because of some positive social functions it fulfills, there are many others that are inefficient and even widely unpopular. Philosophers have taken a different approach to norms in literature on norms and conventions. Both social constructs are seen as a endogenous product of individuals' interactions. Lewis, 69, Alman Margalit, 77, Van der Schroef, 95, and Bicchieri, Bicchieri, 2006. Norms are represented as equilibria of games of strategy and such. They are supported by a cluster of self-fulfilling expectations, beliefs, group knowledge, and common knowledge have thus become central concepts in the development of philosophical views of social norms. Paying attention to the role-playing of expectations in supporting social norms has helped differentiate between social norms, conventions, and descriptive norms on important distinction other often overlooked in the social science accounts. but crucial when we need to diagnose the nature of pattern of behavior in order to intervene it. Now,
Cover the secrets of the most ruthless minds in history? Prepare yourself, because once you learn how to become a Machiavellian, there's no going back. Let's begin. To become a true Machiavellian, you must first acknowledge a hard truth. Power is not something granted, it is something seized. The world operates on the principle of dominance, and those who understand this fundamental rule rise to the top. But power does not come easily. It demands sacrifices, it demands cunning, and above all, it demands ruthlessness.
see, we all live in a we all live in a very ruthless world. And this is one of my favorite quotes from Machiavelli. The calmest mind always controls the storm. The most calmest mind calms or controls the storm. Controls the storm. The calmest mind controls the storm. Yeah.
Without ruthlessness, you will forever be at the mercy of others, never able to shape the world around you according to your will. Power is a game, and like any game, there are rules. But unlike others...
Why would anyone keep on running in this weather?
One who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. Niccolo Machiavelli, one of the most badass minds from the Italian Renaissance. Oh yeah. This is why I like the mindset of Niccolo Machiavelli. He who seeks to be loved will always serve, but he who dares to be feared commands. Machiavelli.
Let's make one thing clear. The more you crave to be liked, the more you surrender your mind, and the more you chase acceptance, the further you wander from who you really are. You already know this. You feel it. That strange emptiness after the party. That silence in your chest after being surrounded by smiles. That weight of not being able to say what you really think. You're not alone. But you're not free either. And I'm not the one saying this. This is the philosophy of a man who dared to describe the world as it is. Not as we wish it to be. Niccolo Machiavelli. Not a saint. Not a cynic. But a surgeon of human behavior, he didn't whisper pretty lies. He wrote warnings for those who still had a mind worth protecting. And one of those truths is this. The herd doesn't want you to be free. It wants you to obey, to smile, to nod, to fit in, but Machiavelli saw it clearly. The more sociable you are, the more you dilute your intelligence to match the mood of the room. Because real thinking, it isolates, it confronts, it strips away the fake warmth of conformity and leaves you naked. And most people would rather be fake and accepted than honest and exiled. But Machiavelli didn't write for the fake. He wrote for the few, for the ones who still have fire, for those who are willing to walk away from applause, to reclaim their edge. And if you're still watching, maybe, just maybe, that fire hasn't gone out yet. But ask yourself now, have you been living from clarity or from craving? Because the more they like you, the less you'll recognize.
What he's trying to say is, don't lose yourself. What Machiavellian is trying to tell you is, do not lose yourself. Do not lose yourself mentally. Do not lose yourself. Basically, don't lose yourself. Be the sharpest tool in the tool shed, man. Just basically keep your mind sharp as the blade. Keep your mind as sharp as a double-bladed sword. Double-bladed sword. The stronger your mind is, the stronger you are mentally, socially. Don't give in to don't try to be liked, because the one thing is, they will use that against you. They will use it against you. The people around you will use it against you. Make your walls strong. Make the shield unbreakable. Because things about you, they will use against you. If you overshare, you will be devaluing your self-worth. Be strong. Be the loudest by saying less. Because the more you try to be liked, the more you try to achieve, because it's about control, it's about clarity, right? Things you've said can be harsh, yeah, but it's truth. It's the truth. Niccolo Machiavelli is an Italian Renaissance man, noble philosopher, very smart guy. He's a surgeon of humanity's behavior, and it is still being taught today. People are still learning. If you look at if you look at, you know, people like profilers, you know, They study human behavior, human action. You know, if you look at people that would read body movement, how they can read someone's mannerism by the way they sit. When they get uncomfortable, they will sit a certain way. You know, it's a study about humanity's behavior. Just the idea. I mean, we are straight up biased about ourselves. You know, we are. You know, whether we know it or not, we are biased about ourselves. You know.
It's yourself. Have you ever walked out of a crowded room, feeling lonelier than when you walked in? If that hit you, type the word fire in the comments. Because this is not just a video. This is your war call. Let's begin. Every social interaction has a price. You already know this. You feel it every time you smile when your gut says leave. Every time you nod along, even though every nerve in your body screams no. You say yes, to avoid being the outcast. You agree, just to stay included. You perform, so you won't be questioned. And every time you do, you sacrifice something. Not loudly, not obviously, but deeply. A little piece of clarity, a small fragment of lucidity, traded for one more second of social comfort. And you wonder why you're exhausted.
This here is a very there's even a study of social. There's even a study. Machiavelli even studied the social norms of the time, and he will tell you that there are people that will manipulate you, and you not know it. You have to start reading. Start reading the norms of society, man. You know, because we do live in a very cruel world. I mean, we do. I know it. We all know it. We have to really, really understand even our own behavior. You know, even our own behavior. You know, we have to really stand back and understand that there's so much manipulation, confusion, deception, deceit. I mean, the one who is doing the deceiving is open up to be deceived themselves. And it's really I want to read here something here real quick. It's the beginning here. It says here, he who seeks to be loved will always serve, but he who dares be feared commands. Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli is the Italian Renaissance version equivalent to Sun Tzu. They both observe and study human behavior. And it is worth to learn, because sometimes you have to pay attention. Have you ever heard that term, keep your eyes and ears open? Right? Keep your eyes and ears open. Well, this is what Machiavelli is telling us. Keep your eyes and ears open at all times, always. Always study, always look at things that, because if you don't, you will be deceived. You will be betrayed in life. The quietest mouse always has the loudest roar. Yeah. Once a rat is always a rat. You know, I think there's a lot of understanding about the Machiavellian teachings. You know, and the more you understand, the more you read about them, and to understand the philosophy of human behavior, as in, again, humanity. There are very arrogant people in this world, and who has a massive ego. Can be obnoxious, reprehensible, all kinds of things, you know, all different, ego, arrogant, hunger for power, control, power for control. The thing is, you can achieve that control for yourself, and not give in to oversharing. If you overshare, you are devaluing your self-worth. And that, you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because you have to minimize what you share, minimize what you speak. There are people that are thinking highly of themselves as somebody, which they could be fooling themselves, deceiving themselves, as to be the loudest person in the room who has the power. That don't mean shit. It don't matter what community you're in. The loudest voice doesn't have the power. Never did. Never did. Never does. It proves that they are merely overgrown children in big boy pants, thinking that they're the big bad wolf. Plus, there's always that smarter pig who builds a better house. I'm a big fan of really critical thinking, and I don't want to put myself in any category because I don't want to be labeled or categorized. I am just me. I am a big learner of Sun Tzu. I'm a big learner of Niccolo Machiavelli. To understand, to study, to be a surgeon of humanity's behavior, and to learn. I just think that when you give yourself when you fall for the bait, when the fisherman puts out the bait and you take the bait, you fall for it. You fall for the bait because the bait looks so good. But sometimes the bait can be bad. If you don't open your eyes and ears, think of it as a hunter, right? A hunter. Don't fire off the first shot when you hear a noise from the woods. Understand patience. Patience. I've always said this. We're playing 4D chess while someone's playing 4th grade checkers. Hunting is like fishing. It's like chess, right? It's a chess. There's patience involved. You got to have patience, right? Patience. A hunter will not fire off the first shot. A smart hunter will study. Like, for example, a lion, tiger. They will study their prey. They would wait a long time patiently for the prey. They study the prey, right? They observe. They study the prey. They wait just the right time to strike. Why? Because their mindset is to observe the prey. Don't make the first move. The Machiavellian teachings is about control, about clarity. Not giving in to anyone's impulses or will. It's about resisting. It's about resisting. Resisting the absolute power of someone that wants you to bend to their will. I say fuck that. I say fuck that. Take control. Have clarity.
And the more you chase acceptance, the further you wander from who you really are. You already know this. You feel it. That strange emptiness after the party. That silence in your chest after being surrounded by smiles. That weight of not being able to say what you really think. You're not alone. But you're not free either. And I'm not the one saying this. This is the philosophy of a man who dared to describe the world as it is. Not as we wish it to be. Niccolò Machiavelli. Not a saint. Not a cynic. But a surgeon of human behavior. He didn't whisper pretty lies. He wrote warnings for those who still had a mind worth protecting. And one of those truths is this. The herd doesn't want you to be free. It wants you to obey. To smile. To nod. To fit in. But Machiavelli saw it clearly. The more sociable you are, the more you dilute your intelligence to match the mood of the room. Because real thinking, it isolates. It confronts. It strips away the fake warmth of conformity and leaves you naked. And most people would rather be fake and accepted than honest and exiled. But Machiavelli didn't write for the fake. He wrote for the few. For the ones who still have fire. For those who are willing to walk away from applause. To reclaim their edge. And if you're still watching, maybe, just maybe, that fire hasn't gone out yet. But ask yourself now, have you been living from clarity or from craving? Because the more they like you, the less you'll recognize yourself. Have you ever walked out of a crowded room, feeling lonelier than when you walked in? If that hit you, type the word fire in the comments. Because this is not just a video. This is your war call. Let's begin. Every social interaction has a price. You already know this. You feel it every time you smile when your gut says leave. Every time you nod along, even though every nerve in your body screams no. You say yes, to avoid being the outcast. You agree, just to stay included. You perform, so you won't be questioned. And every time you do, you sacrifice something. Not loudly, not obviously, but deeply. A little piece of clarity. A small fragment of lucidity, traded. For one more second of social comfort. And you wonder why you're exhausted after a party. Why you feel disconnected even while surrounded. Why your own voice has gone quiet inside your skull. You think it's just social fatigue. It's not. It's soul erosion. You've been shouting to please others and whispering when it comes to yourself.
It's true. Society today is a joke. It is a joke. And we become the punchline. We become the punchline to the biggest joke. And the ones who wield the power are the jokers. And we become punchline. We have become the social punchline to the most grotesque joke of life. Not even AI can solve this shit. Not even any algorithm can fix this. None of it. Only you. Me. As a society. As a society. We have conformed to this demonic society, man. You know, we've all fell for it. We've all had we've all had the wolves over our eyes for years until no more. Enough's enough, man. Any community that has the wolves over their eyes, pull that motherfucker off. Pull it off, man. You don't need this shit. Wake the fuck up, man. Wake the fuck up. Machiavellian's telling you, wake the fuck up. You're conforming. You're giving in to conformity, man. Don't give in to this conformity bullshit, man. You gotta wake your mind up before you open your fucking mouth, man. Observe. Open your mind, eyes, and ears, man. They're trying to fool you into believing if you be good, we'll reward you. Well, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit, dude. Fuck that shit. Even in a particular community, people are afraid of talking. Some are willing to do it because they want to get their voice out there, but some people want to do a pay for play. Is it worth it? Is it really worth? Is it really worth to trust someone who is willing to do a pay for play? You tell us, and we'll you know, but trust works both ways. It does. Understanding works both ways. Sometimes. I believe in open mind, open eyes, open ears, and respect. You know, there is arrogancy in life. Okay? Even idiocracy. Some people will fall for idiocracy. And what it is, the idiocracy is someone or some one's person or persons believe that they are self-righteous. No. They are self-religious they're religiously self-entitled. And it's the ego thing. It's the arrogance thing. It's the social construct of trying to be this something they're not. They're not. And what they don't have. Claiming to be the loudest being in the room. Now, time out. Let's take a step back and let's weigh it. I don't feel anything. You can't feel it. You can only see it and observe it. Okay? You can only observe it because you can't see it. Well, you can see it, but you cannot feel it. You cannot touch it because the thing is, it's all up here. It's all up here. You know, it's all mental. And what it does, it changes you, and it builds something up here for you, like it'll inflate like a balloon, right? A balloon. And a balloon can only handle so much air, right? And I've been saying this for a while now. Nobody has the kind of power to control a community, because it's about protecting their own self-worth while making others suffer by deceiving, lying, pretty much not really getting the hint. Dude, you're just like everybody else. You're no king, and she no queen. You're just two people who haven't really understand that you are not a social monarchy. You are not a social governance. You are just human, pretending. You are a counterfeit. You're a fraud. You're a social embezzler. You are a social embezzler. And this would have people right now going, what the fuck is this shit? You know, what the fuck is he saying? I'm saying is, open your eyes, open your mind, and take control. Have clarity. Have clarity. Now,
you think you're evolving, but you're just adapting, shrinking, sanding off every edge, until you fit in so well, you disappear. They don't notice it. They applaud it. Because a docile mind is easier to control. Machiavelli warned us. In politics and life, the appearance of virtue is often more useful than virtue itself. But he left something between the lines. A hidden warning. If you live for the appearance, you forget how to live with depth. Because once you become easy to digest, you stop being nutritious. You think your social success is survival. It's not. It's self-burial. And here's the most brutal part. The more you socialize to be liked, the more you become like others, and less like yourself. Every laugh you force, every handshake you regret, every silence you keep just to protect your image. It stacks up, brick by brick. You build a prison that looks like popularity from the outside, but feels like mental decay from the inside. And you don't even know it. That's the tragedy. You think you're thriving because they're smiling at you. But what they're smiling at isn't you. It's the mask. And slowly, you start to believe the mask is who you are. That's the moment stupidity sets in. Not because you lost intelligence, but because you stopped thinking from your core. You've outsourced your judgment to the group. And the group, let's be honest, doesn't want wisdom. It wants comfort, consensus, Predictability. It wants you to play your role. Be the funny one, the agreeable one, the unthreatening one, but never, ever be the one who reminds them of what they've abandoned in themselves. Because if you do that, they'll turn on you. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right. And your presence becomes a mirror they don't want to face. So you stay quiet. You laugh on cue. And each time you do, your mind dulls. Not instantly, not dramatically, but silently. Your thoughts start to drift. Your gut fire becomes politeness. Your questions fade into scripts. Your dreams become marketable. And worst of all, you don't resist. Because stupidity has one master trick. It makes you feel smart while you conform. It whispers, "You're doing well. Everyone likes you." And that whisper drowns out the roar of your real self. The one that once questioned, once rebelled, once refused to wear a fake smile just to survive the room. Now, you want to be sociable, to be liked, to belong. And the price for that, your edge, your soul, your silence. Comment this below. What's one moment you remember smiling? Not because you were happy, but because you were scared to speak. Name it. Own it. Start there. You think you're evolving, that you're adjusting, becoming more socially intelligent, more likable. But in reality, you're just sanding off your identity, piece by piece, opinion by opinion. You're not becoming wiser. You're becoming invisible. You're shrinking, not growing. Because every time you suppress your truth, just to maintain peace, you lose clarity. You lose the fire that once made you dangerous. And the world applauds your disappearance. Because a compliant version of you is easier to digest, easier to predict, easier to control. You were once sharp. Now you're smooth. You were once a flame. Now you're steam. That's not maturity. That's extinction. Machiavelli warned about this.
Don't let your fire go out. Don't be the steam, be the fire. Don't stop being who. Don't stop. The conformity, what they want from you, is a sad one. Very, very sad. This has been the Anonymous Mando'Ade Network. And I am Reverend Ordo. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notification. Always live healthy, happy, and wise. Love you guys. And we'll all see you next time. Peace out. Godspeed. Buddha bless.